Okay, so you're thinking about becoming an occupational therapy assistant.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome. Had you always been interested in like a career in healthcare?
Yeah, it's interesting that you should say that I've always been drawn to helping professions.
Right.
And when I came across occupational therapy, it really clicked for me.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah.
We've got your stack of RoleCatcher guides here,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, some of these stats blew me away.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
The Bureau of Labor Statistics says job growth for OTAs is supposed to be like 32% between 2019 and 2029.
It's huge.
It's massive. What's driving that kind of demand?
I think it's a couple of things. It's definitely partly the aging population, but it's also about people understanding like invisible disabilities more now
Okay.
and just like how important those daily living skills are for everyone.
So it's more nuanced than I think people realize.
Exactly.
It's not just about helping someone recover from like a physical injury after an accident or something.
Yeah, it's so much broader than that. Think about it like this occupational therapy really focuses on the whole person.
Okay.
So you could be helping a child with autism develop their fine motor skills so they can, do things like participate in art class.
Wow.
Or you could be helping an adult who's recovering from a brain injury regain their independence in the kitchen, like cooking a meal.
It's about giving them back that sense of control.
Absolutely. And that sense of normalcy, too.
That's really powerful.
It is. It's all about empowering people to live their lives to the fullest and participate in the things they love.
I'm seeing here in the guides that adapting workspaces is a big part of it too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I honestly hadn't even considered that. What does that look like, practically speaking?
It's incredibly varied, honestly. It's all about tailoring solutions to the individual's needs.
Okay.
So for someone with carpal tunnel syndrome, we might recommend like an ergonomic keyboard or some specialized software.
Makes sense.
Or if someone's recovering from a stroke, we might adapt their home to make it more accessible for them.
Wow, that's incredible. It's a real blend of compassion and creativity.
You got it. You have to be able to think outside the box.
And really empathize with what people are going through.
Exactly. It's a challenging field, but so rewarding at the same time.
Okay, so we've talked about how rewarding it can be,
Yeah,
but the guides also mention the emotional toll it can take on OTAs,
right.
like dealing with your patient's challenges and setbacks.
Yeah.
How do OTAs handle that emotional weight?
It's definitely something to be aware of. You're right, this field can be incredibly rewarding, but it also requires a lot of emotional resilience.
So you're constantly giving?
In a way, yeah. You're invested in your patient's progress, and you see their struggles firsthand.
The guides even mention the risk of burnout.
And it's a real thing. It's not just about having a passion for helping people.
Right.
You have to have healthy coping mechanisms, too. You need to take care of yourself.
So self-care is important in any job.
But in this field, it's essential.
Yeah,
It's not a luxury. It's a necessity.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whether it's exercise or meditation or just spending time with loved ones.
Exactly. It's
Got it.
about finding what helps you de-stress and recharge.
100%. You need to be able to show up for your patients fully.
And that means taking care of your own well-being, too.
Hmm.
I like how one of the guides lists opportunity for personal growth as a pro,
Yeah,
because I imagine facing those challenges head on, it
It-
probably helps you build resilience.
absolutely.
Mm.
You're constantly learning, adapting, and problem solving, not just for your patients, but for yourself too.
Right. You're developing empathy and compassion.
And those are skills that translate to all areas of life.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about the practical steps.
Okay, sure.
What does it actually take to become an OTA?
Well, you don't need to go to med school if that's what you're thinking.
Okay, good to know.
You'll need an associate's degree from an accredited OTA program.
Right, I'm seeing that here in the guide.
And the coursework is a mix of like anatomy, physiology, psychology, rehabilitation sciences.
It makes sense when you think about it.
You're working with the whole person, body and mind.
Exactly. It's holistic.
The guide also mentions soft skills,
Oh, absolutely. Those are just as important as the technical stuff.
things like active listening and communication.
Being able to build rapport with your patients, understand their needs, motivate them.
That human connection is so important.
It really is. It's the foundation of a successful therapeutic relationship.
So we've got the education covered. What about getting some real-world experience?
Yeah, good question. The guides talk about internships, but there are other ways to get your foot in the door.
Like what?
Volunteering at a healthcare facility or a rehab center is a great way to start.
Just to kind of see what it's like.
Exactly. You can observe OTAs in action, maybe even shadow one.
That's a great idea.
Uh-huh.
And speaking of navigating the career path, how does RoleCatcher come into play here?
Ah, you're thinking ahead. Remember those overwhelming job boards we talked about?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, imagine a tool that not only organizes all those job postings, but also uses AI to analyze your resume. It can tell you which version of your resume is most likely to get noticed by employers.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a game changer.
It really is. It's like having your own personal assistant for the job hunt.
Mm.
But you know, something else caught my eye in these guides.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
You mentioned community-based rehabilitation earlier.
Right.
I have to admit, that one's new to me. What exactly does that look like?
Well, it's basically taking the core ideas of empowering people and removing barriers
Okay.
and bringing those into a community setting
So instead of a hospital or a clinic, you're talking about working with people.
in their own environments. Exactly.
Wow. So it could be anything from like helping older adults advocate for safer sidewalks
Exactly.
to working with businesses to make them more accessible.
You got it.
That's incredible. It's like creating this ripple effect of positive change
That's a great way to put it. It's about looking at the bigger picture.
and advocating for inclusion on a broader scale. That's pretty amazing.
It is. And it shows you how versatile an OTA degree can be.
Right. You're not limited to just one type of setting or one type of patient.
You can really find your niche and make a difference in the way that speaks to you.
I love that. Well, this has been eye-opening.
It has.
We've covered so much ground.
We really have. From the day-to-day tasks of an OTA to the bigger impact they can have.
And, of course, how RoleCatcher can help you along the way.
Exactly. Those tools and resources can make a huge difference.
So it sounds like becoming an OTA. It's more than just a job. It's like a calling.
I think so. It takes a special kind of person, but it's an incredibly rewarding path.
It really seems that way. Well said.
Oh.
And there you have it, folks. Another deep dive into a fascinating career path.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Always a pleasure. And for our listeners out there, remember, the power to make a difference is in your hands.
Don't be afraid to go after it.
Until next time, keep exploring and keep on diving deep into the things that matter.